right, gang, it is 6:45 p.m. We're going to call this workshop agenda item of the Lewisville City Council to order. We do have a quorum. Microphones are live, and of course, any sound around here is easy to hear. So first up on the workshop is, and only on the workshop, is discussion of consent and regular agenda items. Council, if you could pull out that agenda and see if there's anything on it. We're going to work through it. We do have a Council Canines presentation, and I do want to let everybody know that so far Patrick is in the lead on getting animals adopted before the video was even sent.
I got the touch.
So yeah, so there we go.
The Midas touch, the Patrick touch.
First up we have the minutes. Item 2, professional services agreement with Brandstetter Carroll Incorporated. Professional engineering services. Item 3, Friends of Leela agreement.
How is this, I guess, any different than the relationship we have now, other than just putting it on paper?
It's really formalizing of it. Stacey, do you want to add anything
Yeah,
else?
it's formalizing it so that we have something on paper to allow them to use some of our facilities, and if we need to turn around and do some mutual agreements for supporting other like events and stuff, it really just puts it in paper, and then also formalizes. We have great relationships with their board right now, but if the board changes and we don't have those relationships, we need to make sure that the things we've been doing together can continue.
I think it also protects the city and the Friends of Leela in that there's a documented relationship as opposed to somebody just coming in and going, well, my group wants to do that, why can't we? So I really appreciate that we've been able to come to that agreement here with them, and I think that's awesome. Item 4, amendment between the city and Half Associates for landscape architecture and engineering services.
And council, just note this is a ratification, so this means this agreement I already had to sign because it was an emergency it's emergency erosion project. And Stacey, do you have anything with regard to?
No, this was, we initially put together the PSA, the Corps of Engineers at the onset didn't think that we were going to need a permit to do it, that we could just handle it under our regular maintenance agreement. When they saw the plans, they changed a little bit and said, we think this needs a permit now, so we need Happen to help us get that permit and put together the justification for it. So that's why it sent the project over 50.
And this was some significant coastline undercutting where people could be walking out and it looks like solid ground, but it's not.
Correct. It's over by Pike's Pavilion on the south side of Lake Park, and then on the north side of the Copper's Branch Trail, there's some areas over there that we're addressing.
We have that blocked off now, right?
Yeah.
It's currently blocked off. Other questions or comments? Item 5, the Homeland Security Grant, UIC Grant Award in the amount of $139,483. Any questions on that one? Item 6, approval of the City Council mission objectives and strategic focus areas.
This should just be formalizing what you guys gave us direction on.
Regular hearing, item 7, alternative standards with window requirements for religious facility. And we've done this a few times for gymnasiums. Basketballs and glass don't work well together. Item 8, 3 alternative standards with landscaping, building envelope, and architectural standards for a standalone restaurant. It's another Dutch Brothers down on Hebron. Item 9, ordinance amending Chapter 16, water conservation and water management plan. City Manager, would you mind kind of walking through the changes that we're going to see on that?
Yes, I was going to actually ask Aaron Russell to do that, and just as a high overview, really we're keeping our plan basically the same right now with plans for to look at this in greater detail and some other changes in the future, but I wanted Aaron to highlight those things.
Yeah, just to give you a real brief review of what the water conservation ordinance is about. There's different ways that we can conserve water with low-flow toilets and things like that, but really when you look at the data, it really comes down to irrigation. So that's what the water conservation it really zeroes in on. And so we have 3 stages of a conservation. Stage 1, which is the one we're in now, is is twice a week watering, and then stage 2 is once a week. Stage 3 is no irrigation. So, like Claire said, the changes that were made are very minor, really just stating that we comply with the Texas Administrative Code. We eliminated language with respect to the wholesale customer, because we don't have a wholesale customer anymore. Removed city manager's designee language because it's implied in the code. And then we clarified that once we terminate stage 2 and 3, we automatically come back to stage 1. So again, very minor changes, and really the purpose is we didn't want to rush you guys into any kind of big changes, because we really just needed to meet that deadline with TCQ. We do have some things that we are looking at with respect to rate structure. So things that we're looking at is a conservation rate multiplier, and what that really is during a drought condition, some cities have an increase in rate for those upper tiers of water usage. So really, just acknowledging that, hey, we're already in a drought and you're using a lot of water, so we're in that increase, that multiplier encourages you to conserve even more. And then we'll be looking at our rate structure in general, just a more aggressive conservation rate and the possibility of that. So be happy to answer any questions.
So that'll all come back to you, but as always, we have New Gen work through our rate structure to make sure that we're giving you all that information. So we're currently working towards that. We didn't want to get ahead of that analysis and propose wholesale changes to this without you having that data. The other thing I think is important is we do have AMI. You guys provided funding for that in the upcoming year, and so with that, I think if we're requiring conservation of our residents, it's having them have ready-made available data for them to make those decisions wisely, I think is helpful as well. So,
And for those watching this, AMI is the rate meters that automatically report, and you have an app that can read your own meter.
Those will be very helpful to help residents conserve water, because it helps them see in real time what they're using, and it has a lot of leak detection, a lot of tools that helps them conserve water. So we're hoping to get that to you for award in June. There's some legal language that we're trying to work out with the vendor, but hope to bring that back to you in June.
So I just had a quick question for you, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot to ask you this, but I saw a little bit of chatter about this on social media today, so I just wanted to ask, obviously right now we are not in a drought situation, but we're still under water conservation efforts, so can you explain just, why we need to do that now, even though we're not in a drought?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So traditionally, what triggers going into stages of drought contingency or water conservation is lake level. Obviously, our lake level is very full. We're actually a little over 100% full right now. But that's because Dallas has done such a great job really developing that lake infrastructure. So that's no longer the primary trigger to move through stages. Now it's more directly revolved around our ability to treat and produce water, treated water. So even though we're not in a drought situation right now, it still relates to how much water we can produce, if that answers your question. So, and we're trying to get education out now before it gets hot. Unfortunately, I was looking at the NOAA prediction for this summer. I think it's a 1 in 3 chance that it's going to be even be hotter than last summer. So, yeah, so we're trying to kind of get ahead of that and because once we get to that stage and it's so hot, it's really hard to catch up and get under control.
we've done more of a push right now, which is I think what's throwing people off. We've done more of a push early on because this is when people are starting to turn on their irrigation. So we're wanting them to set it right so that later on we don't have to have them change it in the middle of a heat wave. So that's what our push is for now.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And historically, Lewisville's done a really good job of being water conscious. Statistically, we come in pretty low as far as our water usage. Now, I don't think I've seen new numbers since Castle Hills came in, but I know that'll shift it, but it'll be interesting to see what those numbers come back as.
I think it's my problem. So
I wasn't eyeing you for that.
I'm in for it.
All right, any other questions on 9? Item 10, consideration of nomination of Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Emergency Preparedness Planning Council, and consideration of the nomination of Councilmember Ronnie Cade as an alternate representative to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Emergency Preparedness Planning Council. council. Any questions on that?
I do have a general question. So I know these have been for the past year. These are great meetings, by the way. I think about stuff like solar, the solar eclipse, how does that affect, or you don't think about this stuff. But I've been, do I need to come out of there with some notes to give a report? I mean, what's the expectation for coming out of these meetings?
I think my expectation would be if you see something of interest, hit us with an email.
Okay.
Run it through Thomas. If you feel like you want to do a formal presentation on something, we can definitely schedule something. That's really up to you.
I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything, like there's something expected from me, and I just dropped the ball.
I think
which is possible.
the biggest key is, if you're not at the table, then those funding conversations happen without us. And so making sure that we have an ear at the table is the number one thing.
Okay.
But love to have an email every so
Okay.
often, run that through Thomas on what you saw, what's interesting.
That's great. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 11, consideration of appointment to the Denton County Homelessness Leadership Team. So I think Councilman McCabe needs to step away from that one. Has anybody got an interest? Okay. Councilmember Meredith? I think we can make that happen then. It's a great board. I mean, there's a lot of meat in there. So again, just a quick email or of course we've got staff in that room as well, so that helps a ton.
I'd love to be an alternate for that if we need one.
Oh, we can do that. Okay. They don't have a formal alternate, but that'll be on our side, so that's not a problem at all. Item 12, consideration of a resolution nominating me for the North Central Texas Council of Governments Executive Board. So that's one above the transit and all the others that we fit on. So this is the entity that sits above all of those. So there's been an opening that they'd asked if we might consider throwing our hat in the ring. So yeah, I think Bobby Mitchell is the other representative for Denton County. So it's
That's the people that sit up front in that.
Yes.
yeah, they're the ones that actually determine where the money goes. That each of the smaller committees looks at their chunk of that money, but this one is the one that kind of directs it to each of the subs. So, thank you for the consideration on that. Item 13, resolution nominating one member of the Board of Managers of the Denco 911 District. And I think we have Jim Carter asking to be reappointed. I don't have any
believe he will
issues.
be here tonight too.
Okay. That'd be wonderful. Yeah, it says here that Greg Valentine probably will be here as well, so, but if there's any questions on that one. And then we do have closed session.
We do.
Anything else? All right, we are done with workshop. We will go ahead and move into regular session at 7 p.m. It's 7 p.m. We're going to call this meeting of the Lewisville City Council to order. First up on tonight's agenda is our invocation with Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly.
Please join me for a moment of silent contemplation. Thank you.
And if Mayor Pro Tem Meredith could lead us in our pledges.
Please join me in the pledges. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, y'all. It is springtime, and with springtime flowers comes springtime proclamations. If I could have our municipal clerks team. Y'all wrote this, so you got to come here and read it with me. So this is the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, so I'd like to proclaim that whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, now therefore I, T.J. Gilmore, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Lewisville, do hereby proclaim May 5th through 11th, 2024 as 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week in Lewisville, Texas, and further extend appreciation to our professional staff, the Office of the City Secretary, and all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And folks, if you want to call and just say thank you to these folks, that would be amazing. So let's give them a hand. Amazingly, they don't want to say anything, so that's all good. But no, without these folks, nobody at the front of this room could keep their calendars together. We wouldn't know how to get the information we need to be able to deal with other levels of government. We wouldn't be able to get the answers that we need. They do an amazing job. And then they protect all that information to make sure that our residents can get what they need, because government transparency is vital to a healthy democracy, and they do it all with a smile, most days. Thank you both. Thank you. All right, we've got National Police Week. Anyone? You got it? You want to get a whole team? Come on, come on. You know what, let's do them all together. I got National Police Week, I got Police Officers Memorial Day, and I got National Correction Officers Week. Let's get everybody up here, the whole team. Now what you all, some of you may know that I had a peace officer. My aunt is a retired sergeant. My father, however, is a retired correction officer. He used to work at the Maricopa County Prison. So I have direct relationships with folks, and these jobs are hard because they are dealing with people in really difficult circumstances, and I cannot thank them enough because they are the city in those times of need. So it's hard, it's difficult, and sometimes people aren't terribly appreciative of the work you're doing, but we appreciate all that you guys do. So I'm going to read through both of these real quick. The first one is for National Police Week and Peace Officers Memorial Day, and whereas there are more than 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Lewisville Police Department, and since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 23,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, and the names of these 23,785 dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. Whereas Texas experienced the second largest number of law enforcement officer fatalities in all the U.S. states in 2023 with 11 line-of-duty deaths, and whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff on that day. Therefore, I, T.J. Gilmore, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Lewisville, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through 18th, 2024 is National Police Week, and May 15th, 2024 is Peace Officers Memorial Day in Lewisville, Texas, and urge all residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. And some of those appropriate things would be, don't get sideways of the law. Next up, I also have National Correction Officers Week for when you do. Whereas the brave men and women who work in our correctional facilities are charged with a significantly difficult and less publicly visible duty, and whereas correctional officers who work in jails and in prisons are currently responsible for the safety, containment, and management of more than 133,000 inmates across the state of Texas, and whereas the general public should fully appreciate the correction officers' capability of handling the physical and emotional demands of their job and what they entail, and whereas their profession requires careful and constant vigilance against the dangers of the job, which are always present, when at the same time caring for and ensuring the safety of those who are being confined. And whereas the Congress of the United States, by Public Law 99-611, designated the first week in May as National Correction Officers Week in 1987, therefore I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Lewisville, and on behalf of the Lewisville City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through the 11th, 2024, as National Correction Officers Week in Lewisville, Texas, and urge all our residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Thank you. Let's give them a hand.
He's exactly right. We have an amazing staff here at the City of Lewisville and the Police Department. It is an absolute honor to be the chief of such an amazing team. And I can tell you in the time that I've been here, just a matter of 100 and some odd days, because they are counting how many days I've been here. I can tell you that having the opportunity to be able to see not only the law enforcement officers that I have, but the corrections team that I have, their leadership and the way that they respond to caring for our citizens is second to none. It's a big deal to be in charge of someone who's been confined, and they do it with grace and they do it with ease. And it really helps out with the professionalism of my officers as well. So even though we really requested that they be here tonight, because it got them off the streets for a few minutes, this is just a small representation of the entire team. There are hundreds more behind them. So thank you for your support, Mayor. Thank you for the proclamations. Thank you.
I told you there were more of these up here than spring flowers. Next up, where's my water team? The foundation of it all, because without water, we wouldn't have a city. So I'd like to make a proclamation here for National Drinking Water Week. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas drinking water serves a vital role in daily life, serving as an essential purpose to health, hydration, hygiene, and quality of life for our citizens to enjoy, and whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designing capital projects, operators ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumers' taps. And whereas the coronavirus pandemic has shone a light on the importance of drinking water for health, hydration, and hygiene needs, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which our current and future generations depend. Whereas the citizens of our city are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. Now, therefore, I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Lewisville, on behalf of the Lewisville City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through 11th, 2024, as National Drinking Water Week in Lewisville, Texas, and urge all residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Conserve water, drink it, and enjoy it. Let's give these guys a hand. I'll do awesome work. You going to say a few words? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Y'all fight for the mic. It's good.
It's good, I don't get younger.
So I just wanted to thank council and city management for your support, and just let the public know that this team takes their responsibility of safe drinking water very seriously. And that's day and night, and I just, want you to think about how many times you turn on the faucet and water doesn't come out. It's this team that allows you to not think about that, and not have to think about whether it's going to be safe to drink. And I also want to recommend or recognize our engineering department too. They build a lot of infrastructure to make sure that water gets to where it needs to go. So appreciate your support, and thank you.
Thank you, appreciate you guys. All good. It's always amazing. I remember coming down Mill Street, and we had one of our, I want to say it was a 20-foot main, and water was going 20 feet straight up in the air. This was back in like 2017, 2018, and there was a crew right there working through all of that. It was impressive. I always remember these guys work every hour of the day if there's a problem. It's amazing to watch. All right, and where are my bikers? There we go. You thought it was the other ones coming to talk about motorcycle safety, but no, it's a different type of biker. Whereas, throughout the month of May, the City of Lewisville will celebrate biking and the sense of well-being it fosters in us while recognizing the transformative influence that a growing community of cyclists brings in enhancing the overall quality of life for us all. And whereas the residents and visitors of the City of Lewisville will experience the joys of bicycling through group rides or simply by venturing out and exploring the city by bike. And whereas bicycling has been shown to improve residents' health, quality of life, attract local business spending, and reduce pollution, congestion, and parking on our streets and roads, and whereas the City of Lewisville promotes the use of the bicycle as both a means of transportation and recreational year-round to attract more visitors to enjoy our local parks and trail systems, as well as restaurants, hotels, retail establishments, and cultural and scenic attractions. Now, therefore, I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Lewisville, and on behalf of the Lewisville City Council, hereby recognize the month of May 2024 as Bike Month and May 17th as Bike to and From. No, they've added that. Used to just be Bike to Work. Now it's Bike to and From Work Day in Lewisville, Texas. And I urge all our residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and that would include getting on your bike, which is a lot of fun. So let's give them a hand and yell, mount up, come on. I see here, we got our gear. You ready?
Thank you, Mayor Gilmore. National Bike Month is very important to the people I have up here with me today. I'm Melissa Cancolini and Allison Foreman from the City Manager's Office. I have Grant Vertigal, Jose Marinas, and Miranda Malloy, who is unable to make it tonight from Parks, Krista Stewart from the Library, and myself, John Beckham, from Planning. In American, and especially Texan life, it's assumed that automobile transportation is the default mode. But personally, I like to have some options. Luckily, the City of Lewisville is a community that is embracing multimodal transportation. This can be seen especially right outside in our Old Town area, which is ever evolving. It can be seen in the Lewisville 2025 plan, the Healthy Infrastructure Plan, and the Transit-Oriented Development Plan update. It can also be seen in Lewisville's Complete Streets policy, which requires that all major roadway projects have complete streets, or create complete streets that are streets designed to be comfortable for all users, not just cars. There are many benefits to multimodal transportation and active transportation. These include increased physical health, improved mental health, decreased stress and anxiety, reducing your carbon footprint, and many monetary benefits, not just from those first four I listed, but also I think owning and maintaining a car is a huge cost burden on many Lewisville residents. So when it was decided that I would come up and speak during today's proclamation, I joked that I would receive it fully kitted out, which most assume involved padded shorts and a fluorescent jersey. But the truth is, this is me fully kitted out. I rode my bike here tonight, and I commute by bike most days. Many of the other folks I see using alternative forms of transportation in Lewisville look and dress like me. I mention this because numerous people I speak with are intimidated to pump up those tires and hop on the saddle. But I implore you this month to put a little lube on those chains and ride to your nearest park, or try running just one errand on a bicycle. At a minimum, I guarantee you'll feel a tiny bit more connected to your built environment. Thanks again.
And we may find a mayor with padded shorts sometime this month on a bike ride, so watch social media for that one, so.
All right, next up, it looks like we have council canines. Right, well, we're waiting for the technology. Just make sure that we all know the Gene Carey Animal Shelter and Adoption Center is currently at capacity for large dogs, and it has been for several months. We typically try to highlight a large dog for adoption, and I think this month Councilman Kelly actually wins the prize because he went out, did the video, and the dog that he did the video with, without the video being shown, got adopted. That's how good he is at this. So he went back out, and we'll be seeing a couple of other large canines. But if one of these isn't on your list, there are others out there. So if you're looking for a friend, go take a tour of the animal shelter. All of these animals will have an adoption fee waived. They are sterilized, they are microchipped, they have their rabies vaccination, and 1 year of city registration if you're a Lewisville resident. So you can find the animal shelter down at Railroad Park, which is at 995 East Valley Ridge Boulevard. And hours are Tuesday from noon to 7, Wednesday through Friday from 10 to 5, and Saturday from 12 to 5. Did I buy you enough time? There we go.
Elkie's been here since April. She's been spayed, she's microchipped, all the things you'd expect to have from our animal shelter has already been done. She is heartworm positive, but heartworms are not contagious to other animals, and we got you taken care of. Bring her back. We will finish the treatment regimen for her, but she is a great dog. A little bit stressed, but she is awesome. She's very friendly. Loves the squeaky toys. The squeakier the better. There we go. What a good dog. Here she is. She's out of here. Adoption fees have been waived. Like we were talking about before, the final treatments for heartworms will be taken care of, no cost to you. Just let's give Elkie a good home. She deserves it. She's a little stressed, like I was saying before, but she is a good girl, and she loves nothing better than to come home with you today.
All right. So yeah, see if we can't give these critters a home. It's really stressful for them. So and I know it's stressful for me just going over there because then I want to get a third and a fourth. Yeah.
Mayor, I do have a quick question.
Yes,
so
sir.
was I subtitled? I couldn't
Yeah.
see. Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I need to work on my.
Well, that way you
my
can watch it.
articulation.
That way you can watch it at work without people hearing it. You can just
So
read
it's
the subtitles.
Elkie was a great dog, by the way. She's probably still out there. She's just absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, staff. Next up, Visitor Citizens Forum. Speakers must address their comments to the mayor rather than to individual council members or staff. Speakers should speak clearly and state their name and address prior to beginning their remarks. Speakers will be allowed 5 minutes for testimony. Speakers making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks may be removed from the meeting. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, clapping, and similar demonstrations will not be permitted. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda, and actions can only be taken at a future meeting. First up, we have Ms. Joyce Fuel. And Ms. Fuel, when you get to the front here, if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Joyce Fuel, and I live at Evergreen Apartments, 415 South Garden Ridge Boulevard. Do you need my apartment number?
No, you're good.
Okay, I thought you were going to bring me flowers or something. It's 2105 if you, anyway. Congratulations, Mayor Gilmore. You're back with us after the elections. Yay. And my 7-year-old grandson, Dominic, says to tell you hello again.
Well, say hello back, please.
I will. Who's our mayor? TJ Gilmore. I wanted to thank you all for your service to our city and to thank our policemen and firemen. I am the daughter of a fallen firefighter in Kansas City, and so I do totally appreciate your service. I have friends that are policemen, hopefully really good friends, but I do appreciate that. And as far as the bike is concerned, mine is stationary, but I do really good on that one. No danger of falling. So I know I have something special. I know that we're done for the summer here, and sing along if you know it. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, now I got to get it to stop. Okay, well.
There it goes.
Bye, baby, bye-bye. I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to come and speak, and we'll see you in September.
We'll see you in September, Ms. Field. Thank you. Next presenter is Ms. Nancy Sansom.
Good evening.
Hey, Nancy.
It's a pleasure to be back. And we're so happy that Mayor Gilmore is sitting in the front seat here. Welcome, and so happy you made it back. And welcome to all you city council members and all the staff and police and whoever is here tonight. My name is Nancy Sansom. I live at 415 South Garden Ridge Boulevard, Evergreen at Lewisville. I'm 83 years old, and I have coordinated and been spokesperson for this Lewisville Senior Living Challenges organization for going on 3 years now. Seated behind me is our seniors in blue t-shirts, so many wanted to come, but they had days they didn't feel too good, so they couldn't make it today. But first, I'd like to send a big thank you to the members of the city management meeting that we had with Claire and her group last week, especially Brooke Rowland, the chief of police, and the engineer, Charles Hanna. At our last meeting with city management, our concerns regarding the dangerous crossing in front of our community was addressed, and a decision was made to place 2 no U-turn signs near this intersection to avoid any more deadly incidents like we had a couple weeks ago. Residents were injured because of that. We much appreciate the decision by the police chief and the city engineer and the staff. And now we can look forward to this summer being able to safely maneuver that intersection. According to this month's AARP newspaper, there's a map shown included in your pamphlets that you were handed, that overall poverty over our lifetime indicates over 39 million older seniors. This number is equal to all the population of California. Despite enormous growth and national wealth, poverty continues to remain a stubbornly persistent factor. However, we are very grateful to the city and nonprofit agencies that have met these needs in the past, such as, for example, United Way, CCA, Salvation Army, and others. Though we have just learned that Texas Committee of Governments, TCOG, utilities, have just run out of funds. So, gotta get this here. Oh, I can't get this. Oh, it keeps moving. This podium keeps moving. Okay. The reason they ran out of funds basically is the excessive need to cover the high cost of utilities. And these applications just closed as of this Monday, May 1st of this year. Other nonprofit agencies such as United Way, Denton County, Salvation Army, and others are still on hold waiting for the government or donor assistance to help out those struggling to cover rent and utilities for the summer when the heat will really be turned on. CCA is available for rent and utilities. However, the demand for this assistance is so great that they've had to put certain restrictions on people applying. For example, you have to show that you've lost a job within the last 3 months. And this for elderly seniors who were not able to hold down a job. They just can't make that criteria. Our hope is that with the city support, we will be given a voice and a way to represent ourselves through the development of Lewisville Senior Advisory Board soon. And just as an update, we will be adjourning this summer for June, July, and August, so we won't be pestering you all summer. But we will be rejoining again you in September. So again, we are grateful for this opportunity to speak to you tonight, and thank you again for regarding our senior issues and concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. And we don't stop working through the summer. I know you guys are going to take a break, as you should, but we are continuing to work for you guys, so appreciate you. All right. Don't have any other, do we have any other electronic comments?
No, sir. No
All right.
comments tonight.
Next up, consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so request. For a citizen request, removal of an item, a speaker card, or e-comment must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. Do I have any requests to remove from
No
consent?
polls tonight, Mayor.
All right, council, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, any discussion? Council, please vote. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Item G7, regular hearing. Consideration on an alternative standard associated with window requirements for religious facility on Lot 1, Block A, Chin Evangelical Baptist Church Edition, containing 2.674 acres located on the north side of Bel Air Boulevard, approximately 570 feet west of South State Highway 121 Business at 175 Bel Air Boulevard, zoned local commercial district, as requested by Marlon Marquez, Wright Group Architects, on behalf of Chin Evangelical Baptist Church, the property owner. Case 24-02-1-ALTSTD. Administrative comments are that the Chin Evangelical Chapel Baptist Church is adding a gymnasium and additional parking. The Interstate Highway 35E Corridor Overlay District of the Unified Development Code requires 40% of the ground floor facade to be comprised of windows and doors. As windows within a gymnasium are not appropriate, the applicant proposed a combination of windows and changes in building materials with a dark tone brick mix to mimic the pattern and rhythm of windows in lieu of the required 40% ground floor window requirement. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval, 7-0, on April 2nd, 2024, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the alternative standard as set forth in the caption above. I do have Mr. Richard Ludke, our Planning Director, available for questions. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the alternative standard as set forth in a caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8, consideration of 3 alternative standards associated with landscaping, business envelope standards, and architectural standards for a standalone restaurant on Lot 3R1, Block A, Hebron, Lake Point Addition, containing 1.104 acres located on the south side of Hebron Parkway, approximately 55 feet east of Lake Point Drive, Zone General Business District, as requested by Patrick Cauliflower Foresight Group on behalf of Dutch Brothers Coffee, the property leasee, 24-03-3-ALTSTD. Dutch Brothers Coffee proposes a second drive-through coffee restaurant in Lewisville along Hebron Parkway. During the engineering site plan review, the following 3 alternative standards were identified. A, to replace 1 required parking lot landscaping island with a central landscape green area containing shrubs and 3 canopy trees. B, to provide enhanced pedestrian amenities and elongated canopy in lieu of requiring the longest side of the building to be oriented towards the highest category roadway. And C, to reduce the required 40% of ground floor window requirements to 10.4%. The development will provide enhanced landscaping across the entire site, as well as pedestrian amenities along the trail easement at the rear of the property. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval 7-0 on April 2nd, 2024, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the 3 alternative standards as set forth in the caption above. Richard Ludke, our Planning Director, is available for questions. And if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the 3 alternative standards as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, if there are no discussion, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 9, consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lewisville, Texas, amending Chapter 16 Utilities of the Lewisville City Code by deleting Division 2 Water Conservation and Water Management Plan, Section 16-251 through 16-259, and replacing it with a new Water Conservation and Water Management Plan, adopting a Water Conservation and Emergency Water Management Plan, providing a penalty, severability, and effective date, and declaring an emergency. Texas Administrative Code, Title 30, Chapter 288 requires cities to develop and implement a water conservation and emergency water management plan, and that these plans be updated every 5 years. Lewisville's plans were last updated in 2019, and scheduled updates are now due to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The City of Lewisville's Water Conservation and Emergency Water Management Plan has been modified to incorporate all minimum requirements of Title 30 TAC, Chapter 288, and the Emergency Water Management Ordinance, which is the enforcement document. It has been modified to adopt the revised plan. It's recommended that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there's none, City Attorney?
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lewisville, Texas, amending Chapter 16 Utilities of the Lewisville City Code by deleting Division 2 Water Conservation and Water Management Plan, Section 16-251 through 16-259, and replacing it with a new Water Conservation and Water Management Plan, adopting a Water Conservation and Emergency Water Management Plan, providing a penalty, severability, and an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
Council, if you please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 10, consideration of the nomination of Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Emergency Preparedness Planning Council, and consideration of the nomination of Councilmember Ronnie Cade as alternate representative to the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Emergency Preparedness Planning Council. The North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Emergency Preparedness Planning Council is composed of elected officials from participating cities and counties. Cities are grouped into population brackets in accordance with current population estimates. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly was nominated by City Council on May 1st, 2023 to fill a vacancy and was subsequently appointed as a member to the EPPC. His current term expires in August 2024. City Council will also need to consider an alternate representative to fill in for the representative if needed. Councilmember Cade currently serves as the alternate representative for this committee. The nomination forms need to be returned to the NCT COG Executive Board no later than May 24th, 2024. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly and Councilmember Ronnie Cade have expressed their desire to continue to serve. It's recommended the City Council consider the nomination of Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly to EPPC appointment and the nomination of Councilmember Ronnie Cade as an alternative appointment as set forth in the caption above. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to nominate Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly to the Emergency Preparedness Planning Council and to nominate Councilmember Ronnie Cade as the alternate appointment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there is none, council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 11, consideration of an appointment to the Denton County Homelessness Leadership Team. The focus of the Denton County Homelessness Leadership Team includes creating stronger community collaboration around community goals to end homelessness, better data collection and sharing, and educating and informing the community about solutions to homelessness and the community impact. The DCHLT is made up of representatives from Denton County, City of Denton, City of Lewisville, City of Sanger, board members from homelessness and housing providers, healthcare providers, and members of the United Way Denton County Board. The City of Lewisville appoints 2 members of the team, a council member and a city staff member of the community, city staff member or member of the community. Neighborhood Services Coordinator Ashley Farron currently serves as city staff member of the community. Councilmember Ronnie Cade currently sits on the committee and has asked that another council member replace her to provide a variety of representation, since she also serves on the Denton County Behavioral Health Leadership Team. It's recommended that the City Council consider an appointment to the Denton County Homelessness Leadership Team, and I think we also discussed adding an alternate there as well. So I've got Mayor Pro Tem William Meredith asking to serve as our appointment, and then who did we have as recommended alternate? Patrick Kelly. Okay, super. So I'll entertain a motion with both of those.
Okay. Move to appoint William Meredith to the Denton County Homelessness Leadership Team, as set forth in the caption, and to appoint an alternate of, is it Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there is none, I'll entertain a vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 12, consideration of a resolution nominating Mayor T.J. Gilmore for the 2024-2025 North Central Texas Council of Governments Executive Board. The North Central Texas Council of Governments is currently seeking nominations for the Executive Board, which will be elected at the annual meeting of the General Assembly on Friday, June 14th, 2024. The City of Lewisville has been invited to submit nominations for the board. Mayor Gilmore has expressed interest in being nominated, and the deadline to submit nominations is May 13th, 2024. It's recommended that the City Council consider the resolution as set forth in the caption above. Council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution as set forth in the caption to nominate yourself for the 2024-2025 North Central Texas Council of Governments Executive Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, any discussion? If there's none, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And item 13, consideration of a resolution nominating 1 member to the Board of Managers of the Denko Area 911 District. Jim Carter, former mayor of Trophy Club, currently represents area municipalities on the Denko Area 911 District Board of Managers. Mr. Carter's term expires on September 30th, 2024, and the district has requested that each participating city submit their nomination for a candidate to represent their municipality by 5 p.m. on May 31st, 2024. Mr. Carter has indicated his interest to serve another term. Historically, the City Council has supported nominating Mr. Carter. Council, it's recommended that the City Council approve the resolution nominating 1 member to the Board of Managers of the Denko Area 911 District, as set forth in the caption above. I do have Mr. Greg Ballantyne with Denko Area 911, and of course, Mr. Jim Carter is here for any questions. And if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to appoint Jim Carter to the Denko Area 911 District Board of Managers.
All right. I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Council, if there's no discussion, please vote. All right, motion passes 6-0. Nothing. There we go. So, quick summary on all of these. First of all, Mr. Carter, thank you again for stepping up to serve the community. We greatly appreciate that. Mr. Ballantyne, thank you for keeping our 911 systems running. I know this time of year it gets a little crazy with the weather, so we really appreciate you. For everyone who is stepping up to serve on these boards and commissions, these are vitally important. These are conversations that impact not just our community, but they also impact the way we work with other communities, how we address regional issues, not just issues that impact us by ourselves. And quite frankly, many of these conversations include federal and state dollars that get allocated to cities for various and different projects. And if we are not at the table having that conversation, then that money typically does not find its way into our municipality. So I thank you all for serving and for being part of those eyes and ears and those relationships that we have regionally. It's vitally important, and I couldn't be more proud of my council for investing the time, not just in the city, but regionally. So thank you for that. All right. Up next, we have our reports. Reports about items of community interest regarding which no action will be taken. Mr. Kelly, can we start with you?
Sure. I don't have a particular report, but I did want to point out, I just counted the events in just this week on the calendar, 60 different events. Now, of course, council meetings are part of that, but there's always something to do in our community. Take a look at the calendar, find something of interest. So much to do in our community. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Well, since I'm going second, I guess I can go ahead and mention that we are starting the Sounds of Lewisville tomorrow night in the plaza. And it's going to be the, I don't remember the name of the band, but it's the Elton John Band, which I always enjoy. So we are going to do this in May and June, so we're not in the heat in July. So I'm really excited to see what our numbers are this year. I think it's going to be bigger than ever. So tomorrow night, come early.
Councilmember Jones?
Sure. First, I want to thank the Lewisville voters for passing the bond propositions that are going to help us improve our parks, trails, streets, and public safety. We couldn't have done that without your vote, and we're very appreciative of that. I want to congratulate you, Mayor Gilmore, on re-election. We still have some business to take care of on the runoff with for Councilman Meredith. That is June 15th is the date, but I don't know the early voting dates. It seems like they're working on that. Also, I want to talk about Youth Action Council for just a second. That was the spearheaded or the dream, really, of Councilman Leroy Vaughn. When I was running for council, I remember I was at the retreat, and he talked about where there are things to do for the littles, there are things to do for the grown kids, but there's nothing for the teenagers. And that was the genesis of how the Youth Action Council started. We got a lot of help from the former mayor of Cedar Hill, who had the mayor's Youth Action Council that's still going now. That led to today, and we've seen some of our Youth Action students that are in the first class that are now involved in leadership at Lewisville ISD. Cameron Dockery, who was a keynote speaker at that event. So, it's just awesome to see that these kids will be future leaders, hopefully in our community, maybe in another community, but they know how government works. They've taken the mystery out of it. There are plenty of people who have their opinions on everything, and that's great. But these kids understand how it works, and they can be leaders wherever they are. And finally, I just want to say to our seniors who've left already, we appreciate them for coming out. They said something about bugging us. No, this is the perfect venue for you to come and talk to us. If we can't do it, other forms of government will help you try to get it done. And, we appreciate you guys coming out. We appreciate all residents who come out who want to find positive solutions and not just, talk about things and gripe on social media. And I'll close with that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Cade? Councilmember Meredith?
Yes, I've got some library activities for the week. Morning Book Buzz, Active Adult Book Club, Wednesday, May 8th, 10 to 11 a.m. At the Crawford Meeting Room. Story Stroll, Story Time at East Hill Park for families with children of all ages, Friday, May 10th, 9 to 9:30 a.m., East Hill Park, 2681 Lake Ridge Road. And that's all I've got.
Yes, Mayor.
You ready?
I'm ready, I
All
guess. I do have some events going on at the Lewisville Grand Theater. First of all, in terms of performances, the FAM Fest, that stands for Food, Art, and Music Festival, presented by the High Art Foundation on May the 11th. And then also on May the 11th, we have Texas Tunes featuring Kelly Willis, Brennan Lee, and Melissa Carper. And that is presented by the City of Lewisville. And then, as always, on Friday nights, the acoustic jam sessions presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville from 6 to 9. Some activities going on. We have an art talk by Norm Diamond, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville on May 14th. And then Mary Anise Hegler, The Weight of the World, presented by the City of Lewisville through the Lewisville Talks Public Speaker Series on May 21st. And then exhibitions, Unmasked, featuring works by David Mask, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville, now through May 11th. Emotional Roller Coaster, a solo exhibition by C.J. Miller, Artist Talk and Reception on May 18th, and presented by the City of Lewisville. The exhibition itself runs through May 25th. And then Home, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville, May 11th through June 1st. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir. City Attorney? City Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just, first of all, want to thank Mayor, Council, as well as departments for helping run a smooth election for May 4th. I also want to thank Denton and Dallas County. They were very, very communicative on that night and making sure reports got out as thoroughly and as quickly as possible. Also want to thank the residents. Just ran some quick numbers before coming in here. When we had a similar election in 2021 with the mayor, council position, as well as 4 bond propositions, our voter turnout increased by 2,780. So that's a very, very good thing. More participation, the better. Next up, we'll have our canvassing on May 15th at 6 p.m. right here in the council chamber. And then projected right now to have the runoff election on June 15th, with early voting being June 3rd through June 11th. So more details to come on May 15th, though, once we get the final numbers in. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Thomas. Mr. Lukey?
No report, Mayor.
Ms. Samples? No report. Park fan?
Mayor, City Council, Park fans, just a reminder, on May 18th, we got a big day. The Parks and Recreation Department will be doing our grand opening of Glory Park, Parque La Gloria, over off of Southwest Parkway. That'll be happening from 11 to 1 with a ribbon cutting-ish at noon. Not going to unveil that yet. But it's also, y'all approved the Friends of Lila agreement today, and one of their big events is the barbecue and bluegrass out on the prairie on May 18th that evening. If you'd like to buy a ticket and join us that evening, you're welcome to do so, and we hope we see you out there.
Mayor,
102?
Well, it still reads 100%, but we're at 525 feet, so we're a little above what would be considered 100%. I do want to also add, just for our residents, that I know it's raining quite a bit right now, but the weather's going to warm up. As we all know, we're in Texas, so now's a good time to go check your irrigation controller and see if it's set to the right days based on water restrictions, and make sure that you're following those rules.
Thank you.
Thanks for the report, Mayor.
Chief? Chief?
Yeah, I have 2 items to report to you tonight. For the first time that anybody that works in my department can recall, the Lewisville Police Department is currently fully hired +1. So we're sitting at 183 sworn officers that we have. Yeah. Now, to put that in perspective, that's not 183 on the streets enforcing laws. There are several of them in training and in the pipeline, but we're in a good position with recruitment and retention. So we're appreciative to Mayor and Council for supporting that, as we've been over the past few years to where we are now. Couldn't have been done without your support. And then the second thing is we've historically had a backlog of cases with the Denton County District Attorney, a number of cases that come in and get filed, and that has backed up over the last year or so, and I'm happy to report that as of today it's below 30 days and just a couple hundred cases. So now the deadlines that we put in place about cases being submitted to the Denton County District Attorney is below 30 days, which is where we want to hold it, and we've put a good plan in place to maintain that going forward.
Outstanding. Thank you. Appreciate it, Chief. Appreciate the department. City Manager?
I didn't want to say anything until after the bonds passed, but because I didn't want to jinx us. But I'm just very proud of this team, and I say proud of this team from frontline staff putting together the projects that first came to the Blue Ribbon Committee, to even the person driving the bus when we were doing a trip around town to look at all the issues that we needed to have solved over the next 10 years. And then to this council, to our arts consultant who told us, hey, why don't we just add more money also to our bond package, because we need to have public art in our community. And then to our voters. I've seen other communities that could not get this done. We took a long time to get this done, but to have all of us singing from the same hymnal is amazing. And so I am so grateful to this team, council, all the way down. I appreciate y'all.
And I love the harmony.
Well, a couple of quick things. I want to thank the voters, of course, for coming out to vote. We saw the numbers. We heard an overwhelming support of the bonds and investing in the infrastructure and what's needed to make Lewisville the thriving community that it is. I would encourage folks to pop onto any one of our social medias. The city has multiple social media accounts, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, whatever is your favorite flavor, we probably have something. You can actually hop onto the City of Lewisville's website. We have multiple email newsletters that go out. We have multiple social media, so you can ask questions. And we have a good old-fashioned phone number, which you can absolutely dial in and get your questions answered. So this city is a model of transparency, always has been, and I can't wait for the Dallas Morning News to come back and do another story on it, because the last one they did was in 2015, and we were the top 3 in the entire Metroplex as far as transparency of operation goes. So I will put us against anybody. So with that, I'm proud of our city. I'm proud of the last few weeks and very excited about where we're headed. It's a phenomenal team that we have here tonight. Next up, we do have closed session. So, and by the way, my twin sons are graduating this weekend, so I've got a shout out to Tommy and Will. We got it done. Texas Tech, 4 years. Way to go, boys. So anyhow, with that, in accordance with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551.072, Real Estate Property Acquisition, and 551.087, Economic Development, Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, City Council reserves the right to adjourn in closed session to discuss any matters listed above as authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. I think that's all we have. We'll go ahead and go into closed session. So there is no further action to be taken on tonight's agenda. We are adjourned. It is 8:12 PM. Waiting for somebody to knock the wheels off.